Hello. What? Is that not working? Hello? What the hell? Good morning, everybody. I think this is on. Hello. You know, the first thing I'm going to do is not make the mistake I make every week with the Epic Pen, where I like fully explain something and realize the Epic Pen's not working. So let's get that cleared up right away. Boom. Let's get some lovely background here. There we go. Good morning, everyone. How you doing? What's up? Have you guys noticed what's going on Reddit? Me either. Thanks, man. I picked them for their bullishness. One quick second. So I have everything. ComputerShare. Yeah, didn't one of our viewers used to work for them. I'm not sure if registering with ComputerShare is FUD or not, but I'm not gonna fucking do it. Whale teeth. That's what the whole weekend actually should fucking be about, Spectre Bravo. Not FUD, not forum sliding. Whale teeth. One whale teeth meme after another until Monday. What's Reddit? Nice. Where's the hot tub? This is my first hot tub stream. I expected Gerk in a hot tub. I don't have a hot tub, Kale. But we don't talk to the pores about it, all right? As far as the pores are concerned, there's a hot tub in here. Now you know there isn't. Yeah, mate. Oh yeah, it was AP. There's been a good surge of whale teeth on Reddit. It's been superb. Awesome. I made $970,000 on concrete. Peanuts is a god. Some guy on Reddit says he's gonna give me his brother-in-law or something who's a former Archegos guy. Archegos is a family fund. There was like one fucking guy. That was the point. So his brother-in-law is the Archegos guy. It's just such bullshit. Yeah, and you all have really hot model girlfriends in Canada that you can't call because they're busy. Hot tub's what's growing the mold. Shh. I just had my house appraised. I need a shame shower now. You richer than you thought you were, Windmill? Are you a pigeon whale? Did BlackRock make you an offer? Anyone started our whale teeth yet? I think Dettles did. How did you know? Hey, Hambanan. I don't believe that Archie gets posted all. Han, can you do me a favor? And I think as a mod, you can tag. Can you tag at everyone and just let them know that the stream's on? Because we have like 50 people in here, and I feel like it should be at least a little higher than that. Shit, Han's not a mod on the Reddit because my friend won't fucking add her. Or on the Discord. I have to do it. Yeah, I know. Hold on, guys. Let me just let everyone know that it's. I just don't want to get all the DMs after the stream. Like, I missed it. You didn't remind me. I tell everyone to go hit the reminder button. That's weird. Any ideas why we always seem to bounce before the 200-day moving average? I noticed the same thing looking at GM. I was using the year-to-date day candles. One day, so using dailies, and then MA. What do I have my MA set at 5,200? Yeah, I mean we're kind of close to it ish, but not really. I mean, we're definitely not like using this as a technical indicator. The problem with moving averages on GameStop, and why they're pretty fucking useless, is because of January. This threw off, like this creates too much noise for these averages to be like spot on. You can use shorter time frame, like you can use like probably like the 160 or something like that. Let's see, like EMA. Like EMA is a little closer, like but it still has so much spread from January. And then every run up creates even more like distortion in the data. It's no good. have arrived. Put the analysis. I had to go to the YouTube community to find it. That's where you have to go to find it. There. I'll just share the link. God. Anyone watching in VR mode? Peanuts. Thoughts on all this ComputerShare transfer DDs on SS? I just don't. I don't think it's fucking necessary or relevant in any way. I'm not sure if that releases the stock from the DTC's purview, but if it does, like, who the fuck's ensuring that you get covered if we move them all over there, right? I don't like it. I don't like it. It's suspicious as fuck. One of the dudes on here, AP McSqueeze, who used to work there, he thinks it's bullshit or pointless. Now they've hit 162.50. Does that initiate a required action from the short hedge funds market? No. What? Why would it? Why would it initiate? What do you mean, Red Ranger? 162.50 was a price resistance that they wanted to fight against. Yeah, because they want to suppress the price, and there's lots of open interest above that. So they don't want it. They don't want it to slip upward because then the gamma ramp can, like, they'll start hedging the 160 calls more, and then thus pushing the price further up towards 170, where there's an even more open interest, and so on and so on. Yeah, no problem, ABN. Do you have any idea how MOAS will work for the foreign markets? Like, could the peak happen during German market hours or something? Not enough time, not enough liquidity. Actually, for those of you in Europe, you guys are kind of blessed in a weird way, in that, like, you'll have favorable arbitrage for most of MOAS, and your exit should be super fucking easy because the stock doesn't move a lot in the German market, right? Like, it moves erratically or volatilely, but it doesn't. Not a lot of liquidity, right? So it's probably much easier for you guys to trade it than it will be for people trading during market hours in the US. Could you set the moving average to ignore January noise as you did with VWAP? Yeah, but you need, like, a script that does that lets you weight it from a certain date. And then, yeah, it would be much more accurate if you could weight it from, like, February 24th instead of having everything that happened in January going on. January, actually, I think, was a big problem for a lot of the long-term TA that was being done on GameStop. I noticed that a couple months ago, and I stopped including January in my, like, pattern recognition. Make sure you guys tag me so I can find your questions. I put the link up to you, Kyle. Thank you. was a nightmare to sell. Yeah, so I've heard that. There's some other share depository companies as well besides ComputerShare, and it's very difficult to sell from them. It's definitely not good. People should not be doing it. I don't know how to express that enough. AP, maybe you can reach out to me and give me some of your thoughts over on the Discord, and I can like include that in the DD this weekend or something. No worries, Peanuts. It's just shills just trying to get people off Fidelity. Probably. But I hope that's the sentiment, right? Like, I hope half a super stock doesn't go register their fucking shares with them. Post market hours, right? There can't be halts. No, there's no halts during pre and post market. Because so those out of the money JFEG, the reason you know it's compounding is because those out of the money uh, short sales are they're charged a fee every day that they're in the money in order to hold that position, and that's why it's compounding. That they have interest. You look up share lender agreements, I guess would probably be the best place for you to start. Nice leagues. Is there any way for the price of volume to drop at the same time other than covering? No. I mean, post halt, there could be like a slowdown, but that's it. What longer term dates do you have in the money GME calls intended for MOS? Currently, my in the money calls are in October and November. And I have a few at the end of September. But I could roll those. I exercise most of my September ones. So I might exercise a few more this week. ComputerShare is happening because some people just won't sell. Or it sounds like it. What's your prediction of brokers going down from overload during mass, making it harder to sell? I mean, that's gonna happen. But you know, if people can't sell, the squeeze can't stop, right? Dragonfly. So like anything that stops us from selling is not a negative, right? The only time it would be a negative is it's something that only affects you and not a large majority of retail. So like if you're like you don't pay your internet bill, right? Or like your cell phone gets turned off or something, that would be super bad for you, right? Because then you got to find a way to connect to the internet and sell your shares. But like if it's something like Fidelity's down, like that no one from Fidelity can sell, which isn't going to stop this, like this, like those people won't be able to sell, and then the shorts won't be able to cover, right? Which just creates issues. Make more coffee. Nothing's up with Fidelity. Fidelity's fine, Willie. Yeah, that seems to be most people's experience, Hacksaw. Still have to look at the exit DD. Figured I'd do that after, do that daily after you stop streaming. Cool. There's a lot of FUD about Fidelity a few days back too. I had someone report me when I rebutted them. That seems to be going on a lot. There seems to be like all of a sudden everyone in Superstock owns fucking AMC. There's all kinds of weird shit going on over there. I mean, I'm just gonna post my shit and then otherwise pretty much ignore the subreddits at this point. Unless it's something like that can affect everyone, then I don't really feel any need to comment. Yeah, Fidelity's been making a lot of steps to what's interesting is they're doing something that like, you know, generally software providers don't do, and they're like scaling out their network and, you know, their customer service and their ability to handle the volume before they like scale out, you know, the client side facing things. So they're doing it right. Looks good. I mean, maybe they'll be able to handle my ass. I doubt it, but it'd be cool. The only one I could really see being up for the whole thing is Vanguard without having any issues. Because I don't think I've ever experienced like volatility issues around Vanguard. I had no problems with them back in January. Fidelity was down for like 2 hours. Fidelity was actually in January. Fidelity was down longer than my WeBull account, but I only had like 2 options in WeBull, so like I didn't really care about that much. Do you think you'd visit any of the broker branch offices in person to sell during mass? I mean, I have one not far from me, so yeah, if I had to. So I guess I better get TDA and WeBull phone numbers written down just in case I have to phone in my order. Yeah, absolutely. When will you get a hat that says Dan Never? Dan Cardinal. He wasn't here yesterday during the live stream. What is your thoughts on a spurt in HD? Still bullish? Actually, if you want to check out my thoughts for HD, check out the like a thread in the Crayon Room. I had a pretty long discussion with Army vet on it. You might want to like it's in one of the threads on that channel. You might want to look into that. That's kind of where I stand on Home Depot right now. I'm out. I don't have any Home Depot positions currently. I'm also out of spurt, but I am considering buying back in next week. I think you may have talked about this yesterday, but what are your thoughts on the Pythonamics thing and shares trading at 2,500, 5,000? That has to do with like institutional block transfer orders, and like low liquidity in those like pools. It doesn't mean anything. This goes on a lot of stocks. I'm sure if you transfer another stock, like market value won't match the transfer price. Especially if the stock's like super illiquid. UWMC earnings early Monday morning, I see. Yeah, could be interesting. I know they make a lot of money, so it's not really a question of that. But we'll see if it takes off or not. Let's see what's on the treasury balance chart. And I'll have like more. There's a few more stocks I'm looking at right now, so I'll have some more posts over there this weekend. I have IBKR and it's been super sketch. I haven't found anyone who knows anything about them. I mean, I have IBKR too. I use them for like generally for day trading and stuff. They're solid. What do you think the quarterly report can start MOAS considering the previous price actions with previous reports? Maybe we have run up into other earnings, but I mean that's not necessarily going to start MOAS. We need to break that resistance at 350 before we can confirm we're in any kind of situation where we need to, sit up and pay attention. When do you usually post Pickles picks? Usually like Sunday afternoon or Sunday night. Remember, guys, that I know a lot of these have been super successful as of late, but that's not always the case. Don't just jump into them blindly. Do your research, assess your risk, if you are following the stocks I'm looking at. Plan your entries, plan your exits. Because I love it that you guys are all killing it on Spurt and Home Depot and all these, but I would hate for you guys to like lose a shitload of money on a bad one, and bad ones will happen. And I don't know. I kind of just want to temper those expectations. I'm not some stock messiah, like it's not like just because I pick it, it's gonna go up. Yeah, IBKR is probably fine. They're self-clearing. I know they had some issues in January, but everyone really did ultimately. It says 000 IEX. Is that normal? That could just mean that like it checked for IEX data and didn't receive any Marmar. Guys, please remember to at me in your questions. You still in Tesla? Nope. Sold everything yesterday morning. When it tested 7:30. I'm gonna jump in multiple entries, exits between 30, 335 for profit. Is this common with the normal stocks or just because of the positive outlook and earnings run up? Yeah, so HD is behaving very erratically, especially for like a blue chip stock like HD. If you can capture those run ups, that's how you're making money on it right now. Going into earnings, I think they're going to do really well personally. I don't have a position at the moment, but their earnings is next week. So if I do get one, I'll be looking further out probably, and then I'll be looking to sell profitably at when the IV's high. Even though I think earnings is gonna kill it and it's gonna run, I really don't want to be in it if it doesn't, right? All right, later, windmill. Only Stick Boy makes the stack go up. He's always there in spirit. For something like a 220 GME call expiry, January 2022, When would rolling the contract be a feasible, a good idea? Rolling to say June 2022. Let's see. You got 5 months. Probably, you would probably want to roll to June by like late October, early November. Does previous run-up show similar indicators that you mentioned in the exit DD, or were they too manipulated at the time? Aaron C., which previous run-ups? Are you talking about January's run-up? Just expand on that a little bit, because I don't know if you do you mean the run-ups to like earnings, because those weren't like squeezes, those aren't even that volatile. I need more questions. You guys aren't asking. Ask me more questions. So the IV jumps due to testing 300 strike. That cost of rolling options will go up. Yes. You'd have to wait for IV to come back down. If we move up and fail again, right? Which is like the kind of the thought that's ever everyone's mind. If we move up, test, and fail again, right? Like, then you wouldn't want to, like, if you have leaps, you wouldn't want to roll them till like out here, like around this point, right? Because this is when IV will be the lowest. Or now when IV's really low, I guess. You and TradeSpec should do regular collabs like every Friday after market close or something. I truly think the two of you could talk for a whole week and not run out of compelling discussion. Thank you, J Money. I appreciate that, man. I'll think about it. It's a lot like extra for me. So, but yeah, I mean, and there's also other people that like I'd like to bring on the show. I'm just really not sure how to go about doing that. When you do your research, what exactly do you look for specifically, and do you read mainstream news reports? Absolutely, yeah. Don't ever ignore the news, right? You need to understand the agenda behind the news, right? Like, so you have to be able to disseminate the information that you get from the news. It's valuable. It's just you have to kind of take it with a grain of salt, you know. And you can add that to your thesis. Try to find conflicting news articles to kind of balance that if you can. In January, for example, if I want to see how I would have exited my position had that been the actual squeeze. Yeah, you could probably there's some of that going on in January. Not a lot, right? Because it was a gamma squeeze. Gamma squeezes are far more volatile than a short squeeze is. But yeah, you can go back to January and kind of look at that and see where you would have exited and how you would have timed it. Yeah, I'm sure Nvidia's earnings are very good. I don't know if they're as good as AMD's, AMD's so not that Nvidia is not an equally good company, because I don't think that. It's just that like AMD's earnings were spectacular, like unusually spectacular, changed the forward-looking valuation of the company spectacular. So um I don't know if AMD's gonna or Nvidia is gonna do that, right? Like Nvidia will probably have great earnings. I know they've done well over the last year, and they're expanding things into different markets, but it's unlikely their earnings will be as good as AMD's were. Could you give your thoughts on ticker TOL? Curious to know what you see in the charts. Toll Brothers. That's interesting. Doesn't trade in after hours. I mean, you have an inverse Head and Shoulders. What do these guys do? Giant building marketing, selling rigid finance, and for detached and attached homes and luxury residential communities. Okay. So probably seeing some benefit from the infrastructure bill that's being passed. Also, the high demand in the housing market. So it looks like it's broken through that $60 resistance. If that trend continues, I would expect it to test 65, and that's where I would watch for a reversal. If it breaks through 65, then it's heading towards like new valuation standards. Um, right? That's 52-week high? Yeah. So then you would look for a break of the all-time high. So you really want to be, it looks like you really want to be watching 65 and then 68. But it looks good. Yeah, bullish, nice bounce off the like 200 EMA. Bounced again off the 50. So definitely solid. Looks like a nice play. Volume's low though, so it probably doesn't move super fast. So you want to look, if you're playing derivatives, you want to look further out. Um, like September, because for this to complete could take like till early September, maybe even into October, right? Depending on the volume. Is there any point in using other indicators aside from dojis and volume? Yeah, absolutely. Like I don't even think dojis are the best indicator, right? They just tell you that a turnaround is possible. But statistically they're not super accurate in any regard. I mean, candlestick readings kind of bullshit. The dojis help in the short squeeze because you're showing a period of lower volume and continued volatility, right? Which suggests that you're going to start to form one of those pennants. So in the exit strategy, they have their place. They're easy to understand. And since all of those pennants generally have about 50-50 odds anyway, um, Like the dojis don't really detract from that probability. How do you pick stocks like HD or Activision or AMD? Having trouble to find stocks with volatility, and I end up with stocks that move slow and boring. Well, KL, I can't tell you how to do that. You have to learn how to pick stocks kind of on your own. AMD, I mean, was pretty simple. I saw their earnings report and I was like, holy fucking shit. I also own a lot of AMD, so I know how it moves. I've traded it several times, you know. It's something I'm really comfortable with. Activision, it was a kind of a combination of the bad news and its current technical levels. Home Depot was a little more nuanced, I suppose, but sometimes it's just like market experience that kind of leads you to these things, knowing how certain assets move and when interest drives into them helps. Time is a huge part, like time exposed to the market. And that's one of the reasons I always tell you guys to paper trade, because it gives you all this time in the markets, and that's really relevant in order to come to those conclusions and find those stocks that move. You can look at a way to sort of find that is like OI. If OI is flowing into an asset, that generally indicates that big money thinks it's going to move. I don't like doing that because I don't like chasing big money. I like to try to kind of be there first. But that is a strategy people employ. If you're not trading on your WeBull account where we can see it, would you consider calling out your entries and exits in real time and explaining what you saw that led to your decision? That's tricky. So there's some things like I had 705C1 DTE Tesla calls yesterday. And like I didn't talk about them on stream or say anything because they're super fucking risky, right? Like the risk to reward, it was like 100 to 100, right? And so I don't know. I don't feel like I should be discussing those positions on stream because I think it could lead to people, and they had to be exited at a very particular point. And all of these things are kind of more complex. I don't know. It's a good question. I just don't know how I should handle that. Like I can handle it in the way that like I just let you guys figure it out for yourselves. It's not my problem, right? But I also don't want anybody to inadvertently follow me into something that I think is high risk because they may not be able to take on that kind of risk. It's weird. It's not something I've ever had to think about with trading before. It's definitely affecting my trading style, but did you see DTCC mentioned a rise in margin calls starting in September? I did. That's a super significant comment. I need to look more into some other things. But it's the thing they're targeting very relevant to some of the research I've been doing, and so yeah, we'll have to see. I have to look more into it. I have to look more into what actions they intend to take. I have a leap for June 2022. I doubt I'll need to roll it. Yeah, you're not gonna need to roll it, man. I've been rolling my in the monies because it's cheap because it's super deep in the money, right? It doesn't cost that much per contract, and then also like I don't want to pay for theta beyond MOAS, right? Because then I just buy the shares. I would just exercise them, and some of them have already like my September ones already kind of got to that point where it was just like I might as well just exercise them and buy the shares out. you offer some advice on getting out of an options contract? The IV play exit is the hardest for me because I don't listen to the reversal signs very well. You probably shouldn't be in options. Um, you can always buy the underlying. You may not make as much, but it's something that I do agree with Jamie on, is that like gains are gains, right? Like whether you take a small profit or a large profit, it's still a profit, right? And so like if you're having a hard time, IV's especially difficult, right? Because it can spike kind of before the price does. Um, and when you have options contracts, one of the requirements for having options contracts is that you are able to watch them like a hawk, right? They move 100 times faster than the underlying asset, and in addition to that, you have volatility spikes, and both of those things can affect the value of your contract, right? So it's not just like a stock where if it goes up, you make more. If it goes down, you make less, right? If it goes up, you make a lot more. If it goes down, you lose a lot more. And then volatility also plays a factor into that. And so it's you've really got to be on top of them. Um, you need to be watching your reversals. Options are definitely expert mode. And I have repeatedly advised people who don't know how to use them against using them. And so you're very comfortable trading assets and then dip your toes into options. I don't even generally trade options. I've been trading options a lot more recently because I can't micromanage small like stock positions because the order execution while streaming would affect you know or the streaming would affect my order execution, and I would experience like significant slippage. And additionally, it's easier for me to like set aside an option and monitor it, because I have my other monitor and I can just put, my options up and just watch them, right? Like while I'm doing this. And use WeBull to like chart them. But I also, have been doing this for a very, very long time. I know like when I enter a trade, I know where I plan on exiting it. I have a plan going into every trade, and that's huge. That's a huge part of what you should have in mind when you're entering something is how are you getting out. Do you think Spurt is going to run up a few more times or squeeze because of the merger? Sitting on 500 shares at 8. I think it'll run up a couple more times. The short interest is high enough that it could squeeze going into the merger. Um, I mean, you have shares. Actually, having shares in Spirit, not so bad, right? Because once the company moves over, I'm sure the shorts are going to use like their negative earnings against them and like release a lot of negative media sentiment surrounding the earnings. So it might dip again. Which at which point it's probably a good opportunity to get in, right? Because like you still have that conversion rate locked in at about $8 to the new company. And so that's the worst case scenario, right? Is like you just transfer your shares just get transferred into the new company, which has a valuation of like $60 a share, right around like Riot and Mara. Except they own a power plant, which is kind of nuts. I think tax insurance coming back around will renew retail buying power. Yeah, but it's a question of where do they put it, right? Do they put it back in fucking AMC again, or do they buy GME? Or rather, RRP is often used to close or open short positions Do you think that the increase in RRP could be the opening of short positions to hedge against the market correction or crash? Could be. There's definitely a lot of hedging going on based on the idea of a crash happening. I agree. It was good to learn from the conversation you had with trade spotting. Was a due dimension of thinking about the information. Yeah, I really enjoyed the conversation with trade spotting. It was fun. I had some concerns, I guess, but I need to watch more of their stuff and get like a better feel for them. I could just be like misinterpreting like good, you know, marketing ability as like kind of shit I'm against. Like I don't like the idea of like selling indicators and like selling like a way to get rich, like a program. And I'm sure that that's not their intention, especially based on like Jamie's like passion and everything for the community. But at the same time, I'm always wary of that kind of stuff. I don't trust anybody ever. So it's definitely hard for me to like for people to earn that from me. And then so I do want to look into more of their like stuff and their videos before I kind of dive into doing more collaborations. But there's also other people I want to collaborate with. So um and I'll try to work on that over the next few weeks. Child tax payments come out Thursday, so we get some more FOMO Monday, possibly. Stock's going back up too, which is positive. Yeah, Danrod again, same thing. Still I'm thinking about it, but he also hasn't like reached back out to do future collabs yet. So it's not. I don't think it's that quick of a process. What's up, JC? Thank you. Awesome. You're welcome. Would you consider low IV for GME? Or a little under. I mean, right now where it is, like near the money, the IV is very, very low. Like these 165 contracts I picked up last night, the IV is only 71% on them. This is like nearing historical lows for GameStop's IV since January. Usually it sits around 100% or so. If we got to here, yeah, it's just super fucking low right now. It may not get lower. Do you think? Do you follow the tons of SRO filings that have been filed over the last month? I mean, to an extent, yeah, as they pertain to GameStop, they are definitely preparing for MOS. I'll follow up on your comment. They need to deposit $250,000. That's not very much. I don't think that's relevant. hit an all-time high recently. Got a weeks back on their infrastructure bills. Made a bunch off of that. Interesting. What are the purple vertical lines on the GME chart? Those are the share offerings. From announcement of open to announcement of close. Dartboard. Well, in the money calls or puts always sell. Yeah, usually. You'll never run into liquidity issues unless there's some insane IV spike that like makes them more valuable than the underlying. How do you plan on diversifying your currency holdings? Will you be splitting up in Canadian, Euro, US? Yeah. Probably like 70% US dollars. Like 5% crypto, 20% European, like euros, and then maybe like 5% British pound or Korean won? Is it the won? I can never remember the name of that. For most, is Pittsburgh after hour relevant? Do we need to trade the peaks during these times? I mean, if the peaks are occurring, yeah. Got to become like a crypto trader. Be awake for 3 days while your run runs through. It's fun. Not. Hey, you got to pay attention. But MOS won't end during post market or after hours. I think the Pickles picks the red sirens let everyone know the big risk, big reward. I mean, yeah, but there's still like the group psychology of it, like, and then people take on even bigger risk. Like, there's a whole shitload of people that have like $18 spurt calls, and they're like, I wanted some for fun or whatever. But at the same time, it's like you're just like throwing fucking money in the garbage can at that point, right? Like you've gone and taken a risky play and made it even riskier. And so like people will always be interested in like whatever the cheap one is. And generally those are the riskiest ones. That's just human psychology. You can't stop that, right? Good afternoon, Midnight Angel. Doing most I'm planning multiple exit positions. What's a good way to break them up? Since I don't know how many peaks there will be, I've written out multiple scenarios, but it feels like a lot. I mean, you can decide how conservative what you want to be, right? You could split your position into like 3 equal parts. You could split it into 4 equal parts. You could split it into scaling like parts. Like you can, have like 10, 10, 20, 20, 30, 40, 40, 20, I guess. 10, 10, like that. There's a million ways to do it. I can't tell you. I don't know the size of your position. But I can tell you that like the fewer exits you have, the more aggressive your exit strategy is. The more exits you have, the more conservative it is. Mine's moderately conservative, but I mean, the way I exit positions is generally pretty conservative. When are you taking a week off after MOAS? More than a week. Top bottom tier fast food companies. I think everyone was talking about like Wendy's running or something. I heard some rumors on that. Oh, you mean like just to eat at? They all suck. They're fast food. I checked his stream. Super professional stuff there. The streaming screen, the merch, the music. So much stuff that I like, and I wish we could make it here. Yeah, I'd love to do that too, but like I'm not really a fucking YouTuber, you know. Like I am, I understand that, and like I know the channel's growing, but like I resist it at every turn. Like I know you guys want merch, and I've had a bunch of you guys in the audience reach out to me about doing it and like making merch. Some of you guys, you know, that's part of like a business you do, and I still kind of I'm still really on the fence about doing that because like I don't know if this channel is going to be here after MOAS happens, right? A, and then B, I don't know if that's, even if it was, I don't really know if that's like the road I would want to go down with it. Like I like that this channel, you know, provides an education to people that you know otherwise wouldn't know about these things, and I think that that should be free and unencumbered by, you know, profiteering. If I can't pay my fucking bills with trading, who the fuck am I to advise people on how to trade in a way, you know? I don't know. Like I like that we like, you know, get in here and get our pickles dirty and just fucking make money trading stocks. I don't know if I really like the idea of being like a fucking influencer or selling t-shirts and bullshit. It's just more bullshit I have to deal with. And I've got plenty of that on my plate at any given time. Mm. Have you seen the DD on futures, swaps, and meme stock baskets? I bet, yeah. I've seen some of them. Ryan, it's not too dissimilar from things I'm looking into, just kind of way, way behind. But yeah, it's relevant, it's pertinent. I don't think the things that they're, you know, discovering are, but the overall, like the big picture idea is pertinent. It's like 2 days ago, NSCC changed their minimum deposit requirements from 10K to 250K per member. I figure the 25 times increase is relevant significant. It's not that much money though, right? Like it's a fucking piddling amount of money. It's a 25 times increase, but it's just like probably affects like small firms and like family funds far more than it affects any big players. We're also moving into like uncertain markets, so an increased requirement's not that crazy. I'm thinking about getting with you on proper setup of trading indicators so we can add that to the info in the crayon sharpening room. I mean, that depends on the asset you're looking at, right? That's tricky. You have to understand each indicator, I think, is more important than like a default setup for it. Ritalin for days. August is typically a quiet time for markets. Wouldn't it be safe to assume that this month wouldn't show much action? Yeah, it is. It's generally safe to assume that August will be fairly dead. When there's interest in August is a great month for me statistically, like year over year, because when things move, they move hard because there's so little volume everywhere else in the market. And as somebody who trades, momentum and breakout trends, that's definitely a valuable time of year, right? But it also leaves stocks where not a lot of sentiment is pushing it kind of dead in the water for a month or so. Went up to 250 instead of 350. But flatter. No, it looks. I think we're gonna run up and test 350. Just like the previous runs, if not test higher than 350, right? Because we're starting from a higher low, right? Like this is our low in the previous run, right? But technically, low, 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 right? And like the third one is higher than the first, or higher than the second. The second's higher than the first. So it's constantly increasing. It's still like, because GME is essentially still in a giant uptrend, right? Like if we go all the way back, I think I'm on linear chart for some reason. Why the fuck is this on a linear chart? Did it update? There we go. It was ugly. So yeah, if you go back to here, like GME has just been on a constant uptrend. And then, the previous trend would have been like there. But the trend's continuing, so I don't expect any variation really from us testing the upper bounds of that. I know we don't do dates, but is it safe to say that by June 2022, MOAS will happen? It should. Right? Can you elaborate on why you think the at-the-money offering killed MOAS? You think we would have already launched. I don't know if it just killed MOAS or the uptrend. But it definitely killed our momentum, right? We were in that constantly expanding like formation for like 21 trading days. And we were realizing like growth of like 6% per day, which meant that not only were shorts covering like FTDs and stuff, right? But Additionally, like the stock was less liquid, right? And so our volatility was increasing. So was our volume. FOMO was about like starting to kick in. Um, the news media was like kind of at the point where like they couldn't ignore GameStop's price action any longer. More and more people were like peaking up in interest, and then the earnings came and it just crashed down. And they sold. The other reason I think is because they sold the shares so fast. If you guys remember the day right after earnings, like our VWAP was like this, right? Like just straight, basically like straight downward trend all day. They sold those shares really, really quick, much faster than they had sold them in the previous sale, right? And much more of them. So this was 3.5 million shares. This was 5 million shares. So it was pretty obvious that, there was an interest in defeating that trend. And, it's not easy to defeat a trend that strong. So, you know, it seemed intentional. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, it's good that they've got the money now. The pattern will ultimately repeat itself. But like, just interesting that it occurred exactly when it did. No future announcement. And then I guess the weirdest part about it is like they haven't fucking done anything with the money, right? Like, so it doesn't seem like they needed it because they haven't done shit with it. They also haven't announced what they're going to do with it, right? Which is even more odd. So it seems like they have a big pile of cash in their lap and really don't don't have anything to do with it. Aren't announcing what they're going to do with it because that would drive the price up, right? Like GameStop's deploying $1.2 billion in capital is not going to be, you know, something the markets ignore. Look at the 1 day chart. It looks like we're going to repeat the price action, but flatter. No. The government, I think, in instances where they have bought shares from shareholders, it still has to be at like fair market value. And fair market value on an equity. It's not like when government imposes eminent domain over like your home and they're like, this is what your house is worth, right? It's fair market value in the markets is the market value. So it's a lot simpler. $12.820 spurt a throwaway. Could be. I mean, it's a weekly now, right? You have 1 week till expiry. If I still had contracts in Spur, I would be looking to roll them to the merger. And like any contracts I buy in Spur this coming week will be for September. So if there's some action Monday, you can look to roll further out to have a better chance. Because like we know Spur doesn't move quick. The breakout of the cup and handle definitely was suppressed, right? There's still reasonable, like a reasonable assumption that like the fair market value of the stock's around $12, so you have a shot, right? And the shorts still have to get out, and they're not out yet from a $2 price increase, right? That's just a way to like shake paper hands. But I'll take that money too, right? That's why I exited my contracts. But I'll be looking to pick up more probably. I heard him mention they have an unhealthy obsession with VWAP-C. Heard who mentioned? Yeah, I mean, I could talk about what I saw on Tesla that made me take the play. It was purely a fucking YOLO. Um, I shouldn't have done it, but I took the risk anyway. We can go down to the 5 minute, probably the 5 minutes best. We were coming up to the end of that bull flag. And I believe I was like getting coffee. And I came back and I saw that Tesla had dipped back down to like, I think it hit like 699 here. And then it started to bounce. It had like a strong bounce. So I bought the 705s here, right? And then carried them into the night because it was looking very good for, you know, a test of 725. Freaked out a bit here when it dipped in PM. Was excited when it opened, freaked out a bit before market open, and then at market open it ran pretty hard, and I sold a little bit here, and the rest sold up here. But this was the end of that bull flag, so I was looking for a breakout on a bounce from the bottom trend line. So if we go out and kind of look at that on the daily, we'd broken out of this wedge, this to the upside, and formed like a bull flag here, and 699 was like the bottom of that lower resistance, and so I was playing the bounce off of that. Now the test was the upper bound of that bull flag, which it passed, right? So, you know, it was definitely like a lucky breakout in addition, but yeah, that's pretty much the whole play. I leveraged way more capital on it than I should have. It was highly risky, as it was like when I bought the options, they were 1 DTE. And so yeah, that's why I didn't discuss it, because it's very like, I mean, probably more technical and fundamental analysis went into that than your standard Wall Street bets YOLO, but it was a YOLO. Like, I got 18 C's for Spur after getting the puts in case it went south. I mean, you guys play it however you think you should, I guess. Hold on, I lost the question. You're not surprised that there are not as many people in the GME in the grand scheme of things with the outcome that will happen. I figure there would be a lot more people on board right now. No, I mean, the mainstream, like the negative news sentiment's very effective at keeping investors out. AMC is very effective at keeping investors out. I mean, they know how to, you know, divide and conquer. I'm not surprised that there are more people in GameStop. That's why I like this channel, even though Han gets weird on the Discord. She does. But it's okay. We accept her and her weird shit. It'll be a sign we're under 100% SI YMA. So, could you discuss the possible price staircasing during MOAS? Yeah, so let me see if I can find like a blank piece of chart for us to hang out on. Get all this stupid fib fan bullshit out of here. All right, so if we're running up and we plateau for a significant period of time, this will be, not only will this mean that we're below 100% SI, right? This will mean that people really, only a few people are selling at this price, like whatever price this is, this price X. And when people stop selling at this price, we will go up, right? They will have, because they will have to raise the bid to create more supply, right? Because there's more supply at this higher price level. Up to 100% SI or under, like 90. It's actually under. It's 98%, 98.6% SI. Up to that point, this is all algo buying. So the algo just constantly jumps the bid until the float is a manageable size. Hold on, I'll try to clear that up so you guys can see it better. And then, whatever people are willing to sell at this level, the price will stay there for. And then, when they've run out of people to cover, maybe they're at like 70% SI here, right? Then they'll jump it again. And now, don't get me wrong, this is how it would look on a longer term time scale, like 1 hour or 4 hour, right? Like this isn't something we'll see minute to minute, but this is how it'll look when we review it, in the future. And then, up here, maybe they're at 50% SI. And, there'll be more supply at this level as well, right? Because they have to cover those original short shares, right? That original short interest on the stock. And so, in these though, we're going to see, those peaks form and, those pennants, and then as they find different price levels within these, like plateaus, this is just more of like a smoothed out version of what the price action can look like going through the peaks. And then, when they get to a certain amount of SI where they think they can cover it on the way down, they think the supply is available, like say 30%, then they'll start to bring it down. Yeah, absolutely. What, man? If you all want t-shirts, just make them yourselves. Thanks, Ryan. You missed a bunch of stuff, Johnny. Black Mold Preservation Fund. Thank you so much, J Money. I appreciate that, dude. We could run up faster to 350 this time as well, Dillionaire, because the bid-ask spread is much wider. So in each of those patterns, right, we've had less and less volume. We had the most volume here, right? And you can even see this in the chart. So here's a lot of volume, right? And then here, less. Here, even less. And this is due to the bid-ask spread increasing. Oh. So it's taken less and less volume to push us up to that test each time. First time I got here, I thought you were a goofy streamer taking over Warden but you keep being awesome by staying level-headed and calling out all the bullshit and keeping morale high. Thanks, Steph. My favorite part of the stream is how you say right with no one to answer except the pickles you draw. I don't know. I'm just like confirming in my own head that I've explained things at like a level that's easy to understand, I guess. You think it's odd this is the longest they've ever went without an SEC filing in like 18 months, from what I can tell from the Edgar anyway? No, because I mean, kind of all the little like ducks are in a row, right? Like all the dominoes are in place. They don't really need to file that much shit now. They've got the CFO in, they've got the CEO in, Ryan's in. So it's not odd that they haven't filed anything with the SEC recently. Possibly Johnny A. How annoyed would it be if they do another share offering right when we're about to break out? Pretty pissed, but also absolutely sure that, you know, they're assisting the SEC in suppressing MOAS. I mean, the market is, the powers that be are going to, you know, make sure that the market is prepared to take this hit before they allow it to go like fire off, right? There is a bit of that. I don't know if they have enough power to actually stop it for that amount of time, but they're sure as hell gonna try, right? Is there a chance that GME goes private? Unlikely. They could, but I don't see why they would. That would definitely cause a short squeeze, though. Someone asked you this, I'll rewatch later. What is the most promising play you're currently looking into? I mean, Tesla's looking good moving forward this week. It's having a little bit of consolidation after its bounce on Friday, but it's holding a higher channel. So I might be looking for like Tesla to move back up to like 720 and a little past 720 this week. Home Depot, I'm kind of out of. AMD, I'm not really interested in right now. Spurt, I might be getting back in on, especially if it starts to dip below 8. And if I can get another entry around 6, I'm 100% in on this. What else was I looking at? There was a couple other things that caught my attention this week. One of them was Caterpillar. Cat looked really good. If we got here to the daily, Cat's looking like it's definitely getting some promising momentum, but it may be bouncing on this, reverting on this lower trend. So if it starts to come down, I'd be looking like at entries right around here, which is the 20th, 23rd, for a bounce to the upside. I'm not sure when their earnings are. I have to do more research on this. I think their earnings already happened back here. But the infrastructure bill, they dumped a lot of money into lobbying for that. So it's looking promising. Construction's definitely going to go up, and they will be one of the main beneficiaries of that happening. So it's interesting. That's the only one right now. There's a few more that I have to do more research on before I really want to talk about them. But I'll post those over in Dillionaires, obviously. I don't think spurt earnings fucking matter, right? Because they're getting bought out. They weren't good. I know that.
But I expect the shorts to overplay that. And that's why I think I'll be able to get back into spurt on a nice dip, because I think that the media is going to overplay the negative sentiment on their earnings, ignoring the fact that, there's a merger in place and they're heavily shorted with no float, like basically no float. And so I think that the sentiment will droop. I'll be able to get a nice entry before it, bounces again. If GameStop does another share offering, will you still have high conviction in MOS? Yeah, absolutely. They couldn't offer enough shares. They'd have to like triple their float for me to be concerned. Like another company that we know of. And if Ryan Cohen wanted to maintain value in his company while simultaneously doubling the size of the float, he would split. Also, don't forget that when he increases the number of shares available, he reduces the size of his own position. So it's not a beneficial thing for Ryan Cohen to release shares. Like he reduces the percentage of the company he owns. So a split doesn't do that to him, right? I'm writing notes as he's talking. So an interesting thread I read that margin debt has peaked in June and typically precedes a crash by a couple of months. Thoughts on that? I mean, yeah, there's 50 different indicators saying that we're going to crash from all over the place. So I expect in the near future, probably before January of next year, we will see a massive correction or crash. When he gets donation FOMO, he YOLOs into Tesla calls. It was a good play. It was just very risky. And I probably put more money down on it than I should have. But I had a lot of confidence in it. How do we get live SI percent data during MOS? You can't. You can only tell from the price action. That's hard to say, Aaron. I don't know how long it will take them to cover the naked position. It could be quick. It could be a few days. If they remove halts, it could be faster, Thank you, Mr. Finch. I appreciate that, dude. Please play Pigeon well. I'll think about it, Johnny. Well, every time. Yeah, Chicken Dinner Daddy's right in a way, in that like every time we do one of these, we end up a little higher, right? And we already know that like the next run is really testing the limits of their margin call territory, right? So it's the game they're playing gets, a little more slippery every time. And it's harder to suppress that price. Also, with the bid ask spread the way it is now, it can easily gap up through into their margin call territory when they're struggling to fight, like to try to keep the price below. What's your second favorite security and why is it SPXS? SPXS is just a hedge against a crash. Like if there's a correction, you'll make far more money having puts on the SPY than you would on SPXS or just a regular inverse ETF. Or the VIX. Although I don't like playing the VIX very much unless I'm buying futures on it. What about UWMC? I know it looked like it was getting a little more volume going into earnings, which is Monday morning. Yeah, it could. I haven't looked at it in a while. UWMC also has a high short interest position on it. It's definitely got room to run. I'd love to see it move above, $8, $9 again. These are old resistances from when I was trading it. But, we definitely need to see a break above 8 for any significant price action. It's undervalued. It doesn't move a lot, though. It's not a very interesting industry. It's a SPAC. There's a lot of issues with it. I just own shares because of the dividend. But it's a great place to expect price movement and lose a shitload of money, I'll tell you that much. I don't think I've ever profited well off a UWMC move. I've like gotten out without losing a lot of money, but I've also lost money. Definitely a better long-term play. Don't get me wrong, there'll be a day where it runs to, 25, 40, 50 maybe. But I don't know when that's going to happen. It's really hard to tell. Yeah, I am Cornub. But Cat will be one of Pickle's picks this week. But I need to determine a few other things about it first. SNMP and ENG. Evolve transition infrastructure. Natural gas systems. South Texas. I don't really have any interest in this one. Penny stocks. I don't know. They could run. This one ripped in after hours, but I don't know why. It's done it before. Probably just people FOMOing into it. What's the float? SP's garbage. Percent range, 6%. Free float, 21 million. This could be interesting. I don't like it, but it could be interesting. I don't like penny stocks. I'll be honest with you. I put a penny stocks channel over in Dillionaires. If you guys want to go research the shit out of penny stocks companies, penny stock companies be my guess. But yeah, not really a game I'm interested in playing. That's why I really see like Ryan, Jimmy, or delaying us or holding back moves on purpose. What could be the reason for that? Waiting for the perfect moment. Either waiting for the perfect moment or, just playing ball with the SEC. You're the Tesla master. Thanks, dude. I've been trading Tesla a long time. It's a stock I understand pretty well. The only issue I have is that Elon Musk is a shithead and he'll just like ruin your day sometimes. If I screamed Gerk from my yacht to yours, would you wave back? Sure, Duke. Buying more SPXS will cause the market to crash faster. You dare question the words of the lady? Do whatever you want, man. I only buy SPXS because I'm a trader and my money is liquid, right? So there's not a lot of investments. If you're expecting a crash to come in every market, there's not a lot of investments you can buy that can, you know, protect your money or possibly earn you money over time. And then so I buy it to hedge my cash. But if you're just buying it to make money, it's not that great of a play. I agree with the point you mentioned with trade spotting. Hey, Hales. How you walking this morning? Opportunity costs. But trade spotting regard the opportunity cost of long funds and why they are still not buying GME. Add to that the fear of being blamed for MOS. Yeah, that's essentially what's happening. Is there a way to track the subprime mortgage or commercial mortgage? Probably. They're not industries I follow super closely. So banks, the big banks, super deep into mortgages. Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. On Webull, when there are even wicks, is that algo trading or just poor reporting? It's algo trading. They're using after hour low liquidity to cover directly at the bid ask spread. I don't know if it's the best if there's a market. I would much prefer that MOAS causes the market crash than the market crash occurs and causes MOAS. While a market crash is most likely beneficial to us, the downtrend that would precede MOAS would suck. I haven't looked at Vanguard for months. It makes me want to throw up. It seems like it's fun, Hales. There's no reason to do it, right? Yeah, I would say it's fun and unnecessary. Even if it's not fun, it's unnecessary to register with ComputerShare. It does nothing. Or ComputerShare. Thoughts about the Cybertruck? I don't give a shit about it. I don't care what he does in his personal life, Janiski. You think the earthquake in Haiti will have some kind of impact on the market? It will probably benefit sectors that would profit from making, you know, doing repairs or whatever. I don't know. The last earthquake in Haiti didn't really do anything to the market. It's not like Haiti is like an economic powerhouse or anything. There's companies that'll profit from the, you know, disaster. But I mean, half of Europe just spent the last month underwater. We don't really see an effect from that. So, thanks, Pineapple Danza. It'd be cool to have a hard copy. Seems like some of the more recent FUD is just getting people to tie up their shares in transfers or get them to platforms they have more of a stake in. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, when they're in a position where they need every single share, be wary of, moving them about too much or tying them up. Because MOAS, like, I know it's a joke when people say MOAS is tomorrow, but it really is. Like, we're really nearing a point in the bid-ask spread where, like, MOAS could fucking happen any day. All right, well, we got a few more minutes. Any more questions, guys? Got about 14 more minutes. There's got to be more. No? All right. There we go. You said earlier that the volume of GME run-ups has been getting less and less, and the bid-ask spread has been widening. Is this a result of people holding? Partially, right? So they keep increasing the size of the float by creating naked shares, right? Naked shorts increase the size of the float, diluting the stock. And then we keep buying them. Which, that means that the float is owned, right? And so they're not able to increase the size of the float. And so, and since like the entire float is also owned, that shifts the bid-ask spread upwards. So they're trying to dilute the stock, and it's not working. What was the other half of that question, though? Hold on. Yeah, so that's a result of people holding, is that effect on the bid-ask spread and the bid constantly getting hit being so much lower than the ask. And then a lot of people, are buying limit sells, so they're never hitting the ask, or they're buying at limit, and so they're never hitting the ask, right? And so the ask is just like not getting hit, unless MMs are covering their like T+2 cycle over and over. So that's and as we've seen in the last couple weeks, we can watch them, try not to jump the spread as they try to cover, but it's getting harder and harder for them. They're slipping more and more. That's why the price is going up. How many good quarters in a row to get more conventional investors to buy in? Oh, it could be. I mean, like at that on that metric alone, it could be years before like tons of value and boomer investors jump into GameStop. A lot of like stable investors consider this extremely high risk. And in the last 8 weeks, GameStop has had a high of like 350 and a low of 150. This is not yet a stable fucking investment by any means. Moasis Sunday confirmed. What kind of REITs do you tend to invest in? Mix of commercial, residential, regional, and which platforms do you use? I've used Fundrise and been happy with them. I just own O. That's the only REIT I've ever invested in. This is O. I'll show it to you. Nope, that's not it. Sorry. And O has a dividend of 23 cents per share, paid monthly. It's solid. I like it. There's other good REITs. I just don't own any of them. I haven't done a lot of research into them post-mass because I expect a crash in the real estate market, at which point I will then buy them. But not right now. Not really interested right now. And the real estate market can take a very long time to come down. So, or to like realize it's low. But I own them on Vanguard. What's your opinion on ghosts? I assume you're a skeptic. Absolutely. I don't think that's real. I don't believe in like life after death or anything like that. Or reincarnation. Does increasing bid-ask spread indicate well for MOS? Because it means that the price can gap up faster. Higher volatility. And if you can't, if the price can't be brought down, then higher volatility just means that we go up on high volatility, right? Llama legs or whale teeth? There is now a war against Butt Farm 69 and his llama legs. Oh, whale teeth. Tell him to get his fucking llama legs out of here. I'll go downvote all llama leg posts, Duddles, as soon as I'm done with this. Have you ever had an Earl Grey martini? I have. It's super fucking good. Just don't over infuse the gin because it will be, the bergamot will be foul. Like taste it every now and again. Make sure you have a good balance. How long did your WeBull Fidelity transfer take? T+2. So you should be fine come Monday. Like they should be available Monday if you started it yesterday. Should be able to add a Gherkin's picks tip for any possible options that look good. No worries. Thanks for the time and thoughts. I mean, I will over on the Discord. I'm gonna head out. Thanks for the time as always. See you later, Ausnadian. So you switched to a different trading platform on stream yesterday. What was that? You mentioned that your position there was doing really well when you switched. I'm not sure which moment you're talking about. What did I have shares in yesterday? I don't remember. It was probably Fidelity. Was there anything in your trade spotting interview that you didn't really co-sign or agree with? Yeah, but whatever. I thought it was going to be more of like a discussion and not so much used as like a marketing platform. But then again, I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not good at doing YouTuber things. If I was, we'd probably have more people. Thoughts on Spurt continuing on uptrend Monday or Tuesday? Hard to say. I expect a dip, Johnny Diamond Hands. I expect a little bit of a dip in Spurt before it runs again. I think they're gonna really push that like negative earnings sentiment, and that's gonna drop the price a bit. And I'll be looking for an entry around that time. How jacked am I for Monday? Pretty fucking jacked. I picked up some options right near close yesterday that I'm pretty happy about. Do you have a specific reasoning behind the position percentages to sell in your exit DD? I mean, Howard Walnuts, I make it pretty clear that you should determine your own percentages. It's not that hard. Take your position and divide it up however you see fit. You can either be more conservative or more aggressive. Mine's fairly conservative. It's not as conservative as it could be, but I think it's conservative enough. I'm not really that worried about, my exit personally. Do you think some buy puts on what the fuck is McDicks? Do you think some brokers' ability to sell their shares can be constrained? Like buying was restricted in January, or is the broker side risk concentrated in the apps and websites? Broker side risk is concentrated in apps and websites crashing. Like our brokers' margins are going to be fucking infinite as we start selling shares, right? I don't know why people are worried about like Fidelity or something going broke. It's not going to happen, right? Because as we sell those positions, the clearinghouses and DTCC are then transferring that money to Fidelity or, Vanguard or Schwab or TDA or wherever your position is, right? Like the liquidity issue is not going to be on the side of our brokerage houses. Can you explain price action and SI during MOAS like I'm 90? I kind of covered that earlier, Johnny A. If you want to go back and look. Do you have a spreadsheet to refer to with all your necessary info in case systems go down? Like, is that overkill? How have you organized for exiting in terms of logistics, not strategy? I mean, I have like a notepad file with like the phone numbers I need to call if I need to call. That's about it. I know like my account numbers and shit like that by memory, so why is every trade spotting video GME and AMC in equal sizes? I felt like he was very uncomfortable speaking negatively on other YouTubers and GME, which I guess maybe without realizing it, I was kind of testing him in a similar way that I tested like Houston to see like really where their interests lie. Like, are they in this for YouTube? Are they in this for the people that are in this? It's kind of a problem I have with YouTube in general. It's like when people are like, "Fuck this guy, he's a YouTuber," like I kind of share that sentiment, right? And so it's hard for me to get too mad about it. And I don't know. It's a hard read. Like I think he knows that like AMC's profitable and will drive, viewers to his channel. And I think that's something he cares about. And so it's hard to hold my position on YouTube towards AMC and continue to be a successful YouTuber. I don't hold that against him, right? It's just I think just kind of on different sides of the fence in that regard. After meeting Jamie, what do you think about his intention of streaming through MOAS? I mean, I don't think he's like a shill or anything, but if he's streaming MOAS, that's I can't express enough that you should not be fucking watching any YouTuber streaming MOAS. End of story. If they're streaming MOAS, their interests are not aligned with yours. Hey, I'm a new Dillionaire. Just joined the stream. Does Discord channels get unlocked automatically since I have the account linked? Yes. If your YouTube is linked to your Discord, then it should be unlocked automatically. If not, go check out the announcements page, and I have the instructions for how to do it pinned there. If you need additional help, just DM me and I'll give you a hand. And thank you so much for becoming a Dillionaire. I appreciate that. I didn't get an announcement or anything. It was weird. Do you think there's any scenario where the DTCC... Oh, okay. Just so you guys know, I'm going to cut off questions now because we're getting up to 2:30. So whatever's asked, I'll cover. Do llama legs have camel toes? I don't know. Thanks to the normies and non-dans. Absolutely. Thoughts on Latch? Isn't that over? Like, didn't everyone get out? It could bounce again, but it's probably going to reach that low from the tip of the wedge. It's still super short. I mean, if you're in it for a long time, you can stay in it. It's a bit undervalued and short sold like crazy. So I'm sure it'll like run hard with some other shit. Yeah, I don't think it's overkill to have it written down. Jin's awesome. Yeah, TOL looks good. Thanks, KL. See you later. Later, Bobandy. At what price point do you anticipate FOMO ceases pouring in? Probably around like $500-600 a share. But hopefully that's high enough, right? I mean, FOMO could go up to the thousands depending on when institutions decide to buy in. It's hard to say. Like, institutions don't give a shit if it's $1,000 a share, right? Retail FOMO will die off in the $400, $500, $600 range. I'm definitely not explaining delta hedging again. Would you sell on the way up with Tesla as opposed to down, like the exit strategy? Is it a squeeze thing? Why did you? I didn't sell on the way up. Oh, god damn it. So if we go out to the 15-minute, I entered here and then sold here. I just had limit sells because I was streaming, so I wasn't like actively selling it like one at a time, right? I just had a limit sell here and a limit sell like nearer the peak. But the exit was like up here. This is just a line I drew. This doesn't mean anything. I didn't sell over the course of this line. Jimmy's very for destroying the institution. I think that causes cannon fodder. Yeah, I don't really share that. I mean, there's like the hedge funds that are short on this are gonna get fucking destroyed anyway. I don't need to do anything extra to make that happen. As long as you don't have one of those screensavers with your face looking up towards the corner and your fingers in a V shape, you'll never be a YouTuber. That's great. This channel grounds me. Awesome, man. Thank you guys. Appreciate it so much. Drop was excessive. Not unless just see the drop was excessive. Yeah, I mean it's probably another entry, but not a lot of supporting technicals for it. Thanks for sharing. Please enjoy the rest of your weekend. Yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Obviously, I appreciate all your guys' support so much. I know there's a lot of new members, and thank you guys, and thank you guys for the ones of you that have just stuck in there through the whole thing. It really helps keep the channel going, helps me out a lot. I couldn't appreciate it more, really. Thank you all so much. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Keep an eye open for my DD tomorrow. And I'll see you all bright and early Monday morning. Thank you guys so much. Have a great weekend.